All right, people. You heard the general. Let's move out. Try not to draw their attention until we're in position.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode in the White Collar Players Immersive Mod series for Fallout 4. We have a wonderful show for you all today. We will be looking at some changes to the Gunners and the Minutemen, along with a new tool for your settlements, and a massive change to the main Nuka World quest. We hope you all enjoy our reviews today, so without further ado, sit back and relax while we get things started. Vanilla Fallout 4 has provided players with a range of unique encounters and points of interest, but some, like the Gunner's Plaza, can become repetitive and boring to players who actively visit them. More Like Vicky's mod, Immersive Gunner's Plaza, massively improves the experience you get when exploring this compound. This fantastic mod includes two plugins, which revise the interior and exterior of the headquarters. If you want a challenge when trying to clear the base, you should install the first part of the mod, which renovates the interior of the plaza. Largely changing the aesthetics, you will find that past victims have been decomposing in flaming trash cans, as well as having skeletons littering the floor, weapons may sit on desks, and containers have the new, menacing Gunners logo imprinted into the middle. While changing the aesthetics to create a fitting atmosphere, half of this mod also dramatically increases the amount of Gunners that will spawn inside the building. Due to this, we recommend that you only install this if you have a high-end computer, as an overwhelming amount of NPCs may cause you some unnecessary frame rate loss. With a larger amount of Gunners, it is a much harder experience to traverse the building. The new Gunners found in the plaza will be carrying a much higher quality of weaponry. Some may be using laser pistols alongside submachine guns, while others could be using assault rifles or even machetes. The interior of the Gunners Plaza has a much more immersive feel to it, thanks to More Like Vicky's mod. If you want a real challenge, you should install the second part of this incredible mod, which we have done, to make the exterior of the plaza feel like a Gunners headquarters instead of a post-war campsite. When you stumble upon Gunners Plaza with this mod installed, you are greeted with an impressive remake of the HQ. The large majority of the base's exterior has been cleaned up, and sandbags are a lot more common across the perimeter of the plaza. All of the old guards posts have been replaced with a new, cleaner design than what the vanilla game provided. With this new and improved exterior, the point of interest seems more actively in use rather than being abandoned. Overall, More Like Vicky's Immersive Gunners Plaza mod is a must-have addition for anyone who wants a more realistic Fallout world. Thankfully, the mod includes full compatibility for hundreds of other unique mods, some of which we have showcased in the past, so you can play without any stress caused by unexpected problems. Sadly, this mod is not yet available on the console editions of Fallout 4, but nonetheless we look forward to exploring this revamped location in our playthrough. Originally created in 2041 by General Atomics International before the Great War, the Mr. Helper Type 1B was intended as a supplement to the highly regarded 2037 Mr. Handy Type 1 product. However, frequent returns for factory maintenance and/or replacement resulted in the Type 1B model being temporarily withdrawn from volume production. Limited reintroduction occurred in 2042 with rebranding as a Mr. Rescue Type 1C disaster relief unit in response to the devastating earthquake in Mexico City that year. Mr. Undertaker, an early prototype model, was quietly introduced a short while later. Mr. Rescue met with a commercial success and was subsequently marketed to consumers as Mr. Groundskeeper in 2045, with notable sales revenues from golf courses, vacation resorts, and daycare centers. 2055 saw the release of Mr. Salvage and Reclamation, later rebranded Mr. Salvage. Revenue for this Type 1D model was modest, with purchase orders primarily from construction and landscaping firms. That same year, the Vault-Tec Corporation acquired exclusive rights for a Mr. Tidy Type 1E model, essentially a redesign of the Mr. Undertaker prototype, which was subsequently deployed at Vault-Tec's numerous facilities. Settlement TidyBot by Bot-Athelbras introduces this lore-friendly variation of the Mr. Handy into your settlements. After completing a short introductory quest and obtaining the necessary components and information, you can construct your very own Mr. Tidy at any settlement, a limit of one bot per settlement, however. Once constructed, the Mr. Tidy needs to be activated to begin its duties. You can identify the status of the bot by using the color-coded lights on the bot's home base. Yellow indicates that the bot has not yet been activated. Blue means that Mr. Tidy is gathering information. The user must remain present while this process completes. Green signifies that Mr. Tidy is performing its duties, which includes autonomously cleaning decaying material and depositing any salvage in its trunk. These processes can also be performed even while the user is away from the settlement. When the lights are white, Mr. Tidy is in idle mode. This stage is the safest time to either move the base, scrap it, or store it. There are some notable issues that Mr. Tidy may run into while cleaning your settlement. The main one to mention is that the bot will occasionally become confused in its pathing and will simply teleport back to its home base when this happens. This is perfectly normal and the bot will continue its operation from there. While Mr. Tidy will clean up decaying corpses of any variety, it will not mop up the bloodstains or other related splatters. While the functions of Athelbras mod are fantastic alone, this mod really shines in its implementation of this new settlement item. The mini quest, which starts as soon as you load into the Commonwealth or upon exiting Vault 111 for the first time, is a great way to introduce Mr. Tidy's lore, which we read earlier to introduce the mod. The user's manual holotape that comes with the bot is a fantastic way to immersively explain all the functions of the mod and is very well written. As with all mods we cover in this series, Settlement Tidy Bot is compatible with everything we have covered so far, including Start Me Up and Sim Settlements. Special thanks to Jennifer Montgomery for suggesting this mod to us, and fantastic work by Athelbras. Truly a well-crafted mod that is also available for Xbox One. One common critique by players of Fallout 4 is that the Minutemen as a faction were not fleshed out enough for those who chose to join their cause. Fortunately, the First End released their mod We Are The Minutemen, which attempts to remedy some of the common complaints levied against the militia group. The complete list of changes introduced by We Are The Minutemen is excellently detailed on the mod page, including a handy list of known incompatibilities, but if you are following along with our load order, then you shouldn't have any problems. There are multiple versions of this mod that contain different features, but for our game we chose to use the Extended Edition. All of the many adjustments this version makes are hard to capture with footage, so please allow us to run through them quickly. Radiant quests now have a 20% chance to start instead of a 25% chance. Now only one Radiant quest can be active instead of 3. Radiant quests now have a cooldown period to start, which is 96 in-game hours. The flare gun range has been increased to allow for better signaling for Minutemen reinforcements. These reinforcements now level with the player but stay slightly lower. Minutemen settlements will have more active patrols. Minutemen will only wear Minutemen outfits instead of ratty settler clothing. There are several new outfits and textures for the members and their dogs to wear thanks to the work of several other contributing authors. Minutemen soldiers will have a more diverse set of items and weapons to use in their travels. A new class of soldier, Veteran Minutemen, will use Gauss weapons. At level 40, Minutemen will spawn with combat armor, and at level 46 they have a low chance to spawn with power armor. With the increased recruiting potential of the faction, the General will see many new faces among the ranks of the Minutemen soldiers. Minutemen will now use the Minutemen combat style instead of the Raider one, which means a more advanced set of fighting tactics. Several new loading screens have been introduced to provide information about this rising power in the Commonwealth. The following changes are made with the use of the extended version. Preston will not ask you to retake the castle until after you are level 20, have 4 settlements under Minutemen control, and have completed a Radiant quest for him. The dialogue about retaking the castle has a 24-hour cooldown period, so you have time to interact with him as a companion without the castle dialogue interfering. After retaking the castle, the command table can be constructed under the Workshop Special section. This table, of which there are 2 versions, the only difference being the decorations, allows the General to train up new Minutemen recruits and dispatch them to different settlements. To do so, simply drop the recruit found in the Inventory MISC section of your Pip-Boy. Once done, simply quick save and quick load in order to process the new recruit, and then command him like you would any other settler. At level 30, the General can train Minutemen followers, at level 40, Veteran Minutemen followers, and at level 50, Power Armored followers. The last few notable changes in the extended version are as follows. Combat armor can have Minutemen paint, new outfits can be crafted for Piper and McCready once they are recruited as followers, and lastly, new Minutemen decorations can be created at the workshop after completing the quest Old Guns. These include an APC, flag, and barricade, which all provide defense. While We Are the Minutemen has quite the laundry list of fantastic changes, the end result is a more noticeable presence of Minutemen in the Commonwealth. With this mod, the more time the player invests in helping this faction, the more they will see an actual response of their efforts in the world around them. A fantastic boost of immersion for any Soul Survivor turned general, the First End's efforts with We Are the Minutemen are a great remedy if you feel that the underdog organization is in need of an immersion-focused makeover. The Nuka World DLC was a fantastic addition by Bethesda for Fallout 4. However, for Soul Survivors who support the Minutemen, or are generally against slavery, murder, and other raider ideals, the majority of the features of this content were rendered useless. Upon killing all of the raiders in the park, and thus completing the quest Open Season, Nuka World became rather lifeless, and many players were left wondering why there wasn't a more fleshed out solution for good characters. Systoliker's mod, Nuka World Plus, is a great start at breathing new life into Nuka World after completing Open Season. Upon killing all of the gang bosses and concluding the conversation with Mackenzie, a new quest, Nuka World Reborn, begins, and we receive the holotape, Nuka Town USA Administration. This holotape acts as a control for Nuka World Plus, allowing the player to uninstall the mod, stop the recurring raider attacks, launch an attack, or loot the overboss's trunk that refills over time. The quest Nuka World Reborn asks us to raise the flag of our selected faction. The flagpole is found at the Overboss's room at the top of Fizztop Grill, right next to the elevator. In order to choose a faction to take over the park, you must first be considered a member of that organization. In the case of the Railroad, for example, this point is after you are granted access to the Railroad HQ as an agent. Once the faction is chosen, it takes 24 in-game hours for the members to arrive and set up shop around the park. With a faction in control, you can expect various types of members to be spread around the central portion of the park, and for the living areas to be spruced up with appropriate faction-specific clutter. After completing Nuka World Reborn, the effects are immediately apparent. More wandering travelers, traders, and scavengers walk around the park, along with the various levels of members of the ruling faction. However, just because a new party is in control of the park doesn't mean the kicked-out raider gangs have given up. Periodically, various groups of the former Nuka World Raiders will attack from either the main, northwest, or northeast gate to Nuka Town, USA. If the Soul Survivor doesn't return to stop the attacking raiders, they can actually retake the park, and you will need to kick them out again in order to place your faction back in control. These raider assaults are pretty rare occurrences, so no need to worry about them becoming tedious chores. The waves of the attacks only end once all 3 of the attack leaders are killed or the wave cap, which at the time of writing is 30, is reached. These leaders have a chance to spawn randomly in each wave. However, in our testing we found that this chance was a bit low and these attacks can carry on for quite some time. Systoliker has stated that they will be reducing the wave cap and increasing the chance of a leader spawn per wave, which will bring the time spent defending the park to a much more manageable duration. On top of all of these wonderful changes, Systoliker also plans to add faction-specific quests in order to properly claim the park, along with various other improvements in coming updates. Nuka World Plus, also available on Xbox One, is a fantastic mod for any Soul Survivor that wants to remove the raider threat in Nuka World while also keeping it lively and eventful. Great work by Systoliker, and we are excited to have more role-playing choices in the Nuka World DLC. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up our show for today. We sincerely hope you enjoyed this episode of our Fallout 4 Immersive mod series, and that you found something to add to your game. Thank you all so much for watching, and please remember to leave an endorsement for any mod that you download and enjoy. If you are so inclined, feel free to check out our immersively modded playthrough of Fallout 4, where you can see all of the mods in this series in action. Or, if you're new to the channel, check out some of the other episodes. We review high-quality mods that focus on immersion and are all compatible with each other. We also want to mention that these mod review episodes are not uploaded on a regular basis, so please consider subscribing so that you don't miss these reviews when they come out. Thank you again for joining us for our show today, and we hope you join us next time when the White Collar Players look at some more immersion mods for Fallout 4.